Enhance vision. Empower life. Vision Care.
Two tanker trucks belonging to AdaDerana Edible Oil Private Limited that are suspected of carrying coconut oil containing a deadly carcinogen were seized by the police on the 29th of March in the Dankotua area. The next day, Dankotua police made submissions to the Maravilla Magistrates Court, at which time the magistrate instructed them to hand over the trucks to the courts, while a report from the government analyst is pending. However, contrary to the court order, the two trucks were transported and handed over to officials of the Sri Lanka Customs yesterday under police protection. Meanwhile, when the case was taken up yesterday, Maravilla Magistrate Rakitha Abesinghe questioned the officer in charge of the Dankotua police on whether he obtained the government analyst's report on the oil tanker trucks. The OIC stated in court that he did not obtain the report and revealed that the trucks had been handed over to the Customs Department. The magistrate then questioned the police on its failure to follow court orders and criticized the move, citing the Customs Department's inability to adequately secure them before. The magistrate also instructed the IGP to conduct an investigation into the incident and submit a report to the courts by the 21st of April. Meanwhile, officials of the Government Analyst Department and the Sri Lanka Standards Institution collected samples from the trucks. Director General of Customs, retired Major General Vijitha Ravipriya stated that results of the samples will only be received in about 3 days. He added that a customs investigation is currently underway into the company activities. In the meantime, a spokesman for the Consumer Affairs Authority told AdaDerana that 125 samples of coconut oil have been collected from stores across the entire island. The samples have been handed over to the University of Peradeniya and the Coconut Development Board for testing. Accordingly, 55 samples tested by the Coconut Development Authority have returned negative for the aflatoxin carcinogen.
We have received samples collected throughout the island from the Consumer Affairs Authority, and we have already finalized 55 cases and we are ready to issue the result to the Consumer Affairs Authority. Having considered the outcomes of the sample testing, we can ensure to the consumers to use coconut oil without any hesitation.
Meanwhile, Professor Arjuna De Silva elaborated on how aflatoxins are formed in coconut oil.
Aflatoxin is produced by a fungus called Aspergillus flavus. This copra, the dried coconut kernel, this mold grows outside and the toxin seeps into the kernel. And when you extract the oil, about 80% of the toxin remains in the oil. So this toxin not only affects coconut oil, it can affect peanuts or maize, corn. If you are eating peanuts, you can see the mold and you won't eat it. But here, once it gets into the oil, you won't know unless you test it whether there is aflatoxin or not. That's why always these are tested. The other important thing to remember is that even if the oil is not stored properly, this mold can form and the toxin can go into the oil. So it doesn't have to be only when the oil is being produced. Even after it's produced, it can come into the oil. So if a large amount of this comes into the body at once, then you get aflatoxicosis. Since the liver is the main organ that tries to detoxify anything, that takes the brunt of the injury, and you can get acute liver failure, which results in hemorrhage, jaundice and even death. In this case, you get what is known as a hepatocellular carcinoma or cancer that develops in the liver itself. Children are more susceptible to aflatoxin than adults. At the same time, it can affect their growth as well. So this is prolonged exposure to aflatoxin. The most important lesson from this is that we should limit the amount of oil you consume. Not only coconut oil, all oils. Olive oil is good, but olive oil is good when you use it like how it's used in the Mediterranean diet. That is, they don't fry it. They use it with salads and they take it whole.
What's more, 3,000 kilograms of expired dal containing carcinogens discovered in a shop in Valigama last year was destroyed today.
Liver Ayush Karabu Neti Danta Lepaya Shaktimat